Hey, what's up, and welcome back to the first video of the year here on the Traveler Toolkit. We are in the middle of the shoulder season. It's winter outside. We're spending less time than we'd like to outside, but in this video, I'm going to share some products with you that might make it a little more enjoyable or just more bearable to be outside. As always, I will leave links in the description down below so you can check each one of these out. And I do want to say thank you to eTrailer for sponsoring today's video, but I'll tell you about them a little bit later. For now, let's jump into the first product. We are going to be checking out and testing this Bighorn Outdoors 1500 degree outdoor steak grill. This is an infrared grill. It kind of has a top-down broiling technique that we're going to test out on this beautiful sirloin steak right here, my cut of choice. We're going to go through all the features on this grill, and we're going to see if it works and works well, because I love steaks and this looks like a really easy and fun way to do it versus the conventional grill. So let's go ahead and put our steak off to the side, and I'll run you through the features of this grill, and then we'll light it up and stick this thing on there. All right, so if you're wondering what this thing is, this is kind of your spatula, and it doubles as a bottle opener. That's pretty ingenious, but it allows you to get these racks out of the grill itself when they're hot. You just kind of do one of these, and you've got one of these two grills out. There's two of these. This is not on, so I can touch this, but we've got two of these stainless steel grills. I believe there are 10 positions in here for these grills to go in. I'm honestly not quite sure where we're going to need to cook, so we're going to learn that together. On the bottom, you have a drip pan with kind of this this triangle or curved piece on the top that just, I guess, allows everything to run off to the side. And then on the front, this is like a drip edge. This is removable, just has some little catches there for these screws on the end, and just has a little drip edge, I guess protects whatever you have it on. Now I chose an aluminum table to place this on so there'd be no heat transfer, but we will test out the heat transfer and see how that works, whether it gets hot on the side or the front or nowhere. Now let's quickly talk about the fuel source. You want to come around here and check this out. You will see this propane line running back to this 5-gallon propane tank. Now, obviously we had to get our own propane tank, just stole this from our regular grill. It did come with this line and this nozzle, so it fits a standard propane tank. You'll see here, it just connects to the back of the grill. This is the igniter section, and right on top, we've got this nice button. It just allows you to auto ignite. I will show you some B-roll of this, but if you press down here, you're going to hear a clicking, and that clicking is the igniter inside the grill, so you don't have to manually light it, but you could if you had to. This is also your gas control. Come around here to the side. I'll show you what allows us to do that. It's this little section here that contains a AAA battery. So you have to put a AAA battery in there, and that allows your electric igniter to work, and all of that happens inside this box. So again, pressing this button here, we can hear the igniter clicking in there. We know we are good to go. So it's really no more complicated than that. Really wasn't hard to put together. All we had to do was put these racks in here. Of course, I washed these racks with soap and water before we put the food on them. But the rest of this box, the grill, it all came assembled like this. So I think we're ready to go. I think we're ready to light this up. It does need 3 to 5 minutes of warm-up time according to the instructions. So I'm going to go ahead and turn our gas on. Then we will ignite this and we will see how it does. And I almost forgot, even though we're not using it in this test, it does come with this baking stone, which they say is great for pizza. So this is basically like a steak cooker and a pizza oven. You could set this on top of one of your trays here, and basically it is going to hold and transfer heat. I don't know if I have it in there correctly or if it's sideways. Yeah, it kind of fits right here on these trays. Not perfectly, but it does set right there, and it's sturdy. And you could cook a pizza on top of that, cook flatbread on top of it, whatever you want. But this baking stone is an important part of that type of cooking, so it does come with one of these as well. All right, so we made sure our knob was off on the grill, and now we're just gonna open our valve on our tank. Heard a little bit of a hiss as the gas is up here now. All right, I'm gonna try to give you a look at this. We're gonna press the igniter. There we go, the gas is now on, and you have to kind of quickly turn that knob down to low, get it from the light section down here to the low and the high. This is all the way low, and then this is all the way high. We're gonna keep it all the way up for just a minute, but you can see that flame right here on top. I can certainly feel it myself. Okay, so we have been cooking here, not literally yet, but we have been sitting here warming up for about 5 minutes with the Bighorn, and I brought out my thermal imager so that we could get some feedback on how hot this is really. And you can see here, it'll give us a readout on temperature. The top is reading almost, it's 1112 degrees. So we're almost up to that 1500. We do have it set on high, but that thing is cooking. If I just pull back here, you can kind of see the heat rolling off of it on the thermal. I thought I would also show that while we do have a lot of heat coming out the front here and across the top, the sides are remaining relatively cool. I mean, this side over here, it's still almost 400 degrees at the top, but we're looking at much, much cooler down the sides. These purple sections are not going to be hot, but all your heat is just kind of carried out through the front here. So that's a pretty interesting piece of information, so that we've got some nice insulation on the sides that are kind of keeping it from burning anything to the side. Yeah, I can touch the side, no problem. So not a lot of heat transfer anywhere but the front. Come check out what we got in just a couple minutes. We got kind of a burnt crust. I don't think that's terrible. I am going to, for the second side, move it down a few. I also realized I'm still pretty high, so I'm gonna come down about to 75% on the heat. I don't think we need all that heat to sear the steak. We're still learning, but yeah, I'm seeing it's getting black really quickly. Okay, I don't want to overstay our welcome here. We've got a nice sear on both sides, you can see. Kind of nice that we have this little drip tray here. I'm gonna take my steak here. All right, we've been sitting here for about 3 minutes, maybe a little longer. It's cooler outside, so I didn't give it as long to rest, but let's check out the finished product here. Cut into our steak, come in close and take a look at this. It's got a nice crust on top. Oh, wow. Did such a good job. Pretty close to medium. I think that did excellent. It's got, listen, nice crust on top. That was super easy. The first time on the Bighorn, cooked it quickly, cooked it neatly. If you're into cooking steaks, if you like to get creative and cook things like maybe pizzas or flatbreads, then this would be a great option or alternative to a traditional grill, because it honestly cooked that steak much better than my regular grill did, much quicker, more consistent. I think it's gonna be harder to mess up. Don't forget, there will be a link to all these products in the video description below, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get to it. Check out another product. We're going to be taking an in-depth look at this Suburbs model infrared heater, simulated flame, cast iron looking stove from Turbro. They make some really cool heating products, and this is no exception. This is one of my favorite ideas because you get the look and the feel, even the warmth of a cast iron stove, but no chimney, no mess, no wood, no nothing. So we're going to take an in-depth look. I'll give you my honest opinion on whether or not this is a good buy for you, so you can be sure to make the right decision. All right, so we've opened up the box here and pulled all the components out so you can see everything that comes with the stove. Obviously, covered up here we have the stove itself. This is the main area, the heating unit. It's got a door, it's kind of taped down. Then we have 2 packages of legs. We'll open those up here so you can see. These are gonna go 1 on each corner, and we'll do that in just a second. 2 more. And then of course we have instructions and the remote inside here, along with the little tiny screws that we are going to use to attach these legs. This remote, I think, is going to be the most useful part because this means I can sit on the couch and operate this from a distance. So let's get started assembling these legs and see how easy it is. All right, so I'm going to slowly kind of lower this back, kind of trying to avoid crinkling the electrical cord right here coming out of the back. And I did bring a little screw gun to make this easier on myself. I think it should be pretty easy. It's just 4 little screws on each side. So we're going to take these screws and find a bit that works for us. They're pretty small. And that's what it should look like when you're done. And it does come with a nice right angle plug, which I like because it's so much better if you want to put a couch or something up against this. Obviously you want to keep the heater away from furniture and walls a little bit because it is going to be getting hot, but this plug might be going behind something, and that 90-degree angle plug is really beneficial. All right, so we've got the heater set up on a mantle here so you can take a closer look. You're going to see me and everything else in the glass, so try not to be distracted. So let's first open up this door so you can see kind of what's behind it here. It's just kind of a plexiglass door. Everything's lightweight. This is plastic. This is not metal, but it's not something you need to be opening all the time unless you're using the hand controls, which are right here. You can use this to adjust your flame level, 3, 2, 1. Here is your on-off switch, obviously. So you've got a timer or a heater switch down here in the bottom corner that controls your level of heat. Now you do need to use the remote control to adjust the thermostat up and down. You'll see here, if we use the remote, we can adjust the temperature you want it, the level you want to set the thermostat at. It will kick on and off when you do that. Then you can also use this little button here to set a timer. If you want to do it a 30-minute timer all the way up to 6 hours, you can do that, or you can turn it off. Now it does have simulated sounds, and the only way to turn those on is with this remote. So you can control the flames and the sounds with this button here. You have to hold this for 5 seconds to get your sounds. There we go. There, the heater is now off. But it does sound like a real wood fire if you really wanted that. You'll see the grates on the side from in here. Just makes it look nice and authentic and real. And I'm really impressed with these flames. I mean, they're a beautiful color. You know, from 5 feet back, you would never know they weren't real. Obviously, you can adjust the level here of these flames. 3, 2, and 1. Off. 3, 2, 1. I prefer 3. I think it's a really beautiful glow. It's not too overwhelming at 3, so I would keep it there. And then your heater is down here. Let's turn that back on so you can see the heating element will warm up in glow orange. It is an infrared heater. So it's heating objects in the room, not just the whole room itself. And you'll see these beautiful pedestal feet that were no problem to install. No problem at all. It really does look the part of a cast iron stove, but I believe most of it, this is metal here. This is plastic. The top is metal, but it's light. You can pick it up, you can move it. You'll just kind of see it's a nice style all the way around. Looks the part, looks authentic. All right, so we have the lights off so you can clearly see the heating element down below and the flames up top. We have our remote control. We're gonna do a little changing of the levels of flames so you can see the difference. So right now, this is L3. This is the highest level of flame. If I click it down, I can go to L2, there, and L1. So the least amount of flame. L3, L2, L1. So you can see 3 is actually a really nice setting. I think it gives you more ember glow and just the more general feel of a fire, as well as you're getting that from down below. I think once you get down to the L1, it would have to be really dark and you just don't want much light because that doesn't put out much at all. But it is a pretty realistic flame. I'm impressed with how realistic it looks. Going back to the highest setting, you really wouldn't know the difference if you were 5 feet away, not paying attention to it, just having it indirect or in the corner. It's really beautiful. And then of course, even when you have the heat off, you could still sit here and enjoy the beautiful look of those simulated flames inside the stove. And there is one last feature about this stove that's awesome. It is a smart stove, so you can connect it to an app. It was really easy. It took me less than a minute. And then you have full control over things like flame, heat, temperature, your sound controls, and your timer. You can change the temperature scale. So let's just demo this a little. You can turn it on, power. There you go. Let's mess with our flame height. Go down to low, maybe up to high. Turn flames off. That's pretty cool. Or you can go to the heat function. Heat, you see our heating element turned on there. There we go. And you can control the intensity of the heat. You can go down here and control what your thermostat is set at. Right now we're set at 70. You can also control the sound. So let's turn it on. And we can change to the different types of sound. Sound 1, sound 2, sound 3 options. And a countdown timer. You can go between 30 minutes and 6 hours, just like you can do on the stove, but it's all on this remote. And honestly, I find this so much easier to use than the actual remote. It's really responsive. And then when you're done, you can turn it off. Right there. Nice and easy. And a big shout out to today's video sponsor, eTrailer. But rather than just telling you about all the great camping, RVing, and trailer and truck parts and products they have on the website, I thought I'd show you one of my favorites. It's this Powerbuilt 20-ton bottle jack. Now, it's something that's small enough I can pack away in my truck. And in fact, if I'm going on an RVing, camping, or a road trip in my truck, it doesn't matter what I'm doing, I have this bottle jack with me because it just fits into the back of the truck. I've got an emergency pack that I put together just in case. This is so much better than the factory jack that comes with the car. If you have a flat tire, a problem underneath one of your vehicles, underneath a trailer, bottle jacks are some of the most useful types of jacks. They're strong and they're reliable, and you can get this one at eTrailer. So if you're getting ready to hit the road, go on an RV or a camping trip, check out this Powerbuilt bottle jack from eTrailer. I'll leave a link to eTrailer and this jack in the description below. You can check them out and support them as our video sponsor. I've just gotten it out of the box, I've charged up the battery, and I'm ready to go for the first time. So we're gonna test it on this fresh powder, see how it does, and I'll give you my honest opinion. Let's do it. One pass, and that's already a lot of fun to use. All right, now I've done a couple passes with the blades set to straight. Let me just show you what we're working with here. We do have a section on here that you can pull out and adjust these blades right here to kind of throw the snow in one direction or the other. I'm noticing you get a lot of blowback in your face if you're straight because it does blow it quite high. So I'm gonna try to blow it toward the snow we haven't plowed yet, which means to the left in this case. Let's see if that makes a big difference. Oh, that's significantly better. And even here up against the garage door, I can just switch it to right to blow it away from here. There we go. Kind of get ourselves away from the garage a little bit. All right, now that we have a little breathing room away from the garage, I can switch it back to left. The only thing I want to watch, because this is not very big, I want to make sure I don't make a huge build-up pile on one side that I then have to plow through, because I don't think this is going to work on 6 or 8 inches of snow. So let's just work it all the way to the left and see how we do. All right, so I just want to point out something real quick. We've done a little bit of stomping on this backside. I wanted to see how it did in snow with some footprints in it, because oftentimes a weak snowblower won't go over footprints or pack down snow. But with a few footprints and some areas over here where you have kind of icy slush, it's actually doing pretty good, better than I expected. So I'm kind of impressed. We have a larger driveway, and this is going to take several passes, but so far it's performing really well and hasn't bogged at all yet. All right, well, you can see we did a pretty large chunk of the driveway here in about 10 minutes, I'm gonna guess, of work. I am sitting on about, still says 4 bars of battery on the top. So come around here and take a look at this. Come all the way up here. We've been using this thing in regular mode. So there's a full power mode and there is an eco mode. And you see it right here on the handle. When I pull the trigger, you can see we have all 4 bars still. And if you want to press this button, I guess it goes into eco mode. So I would like to try out eco mode since we've been in regular. Obviously no light on. It's in standard or regular mode. And then green light on is eco mode. So let's give this section out here a try in eco mode to see if that extends our battery life. This is eco mode. Look at how, I don't know, I feel like eco mode is kind of wimpy. And then this is standard mode. I mean, you can just hear it in the way the motor is whirring along. I'm not sure you could do a significant snowfall with eco mode, honestly. Let's take another pass and see, but I think eco mode is probably just too weak to use on, you know, couple 3 inches of snow. This is eco. Yeah, that's one whole pass in eco mode. It's only throwing it about 6 or 7 feet, but when I go to standard mode, it just has so much more throw to it. I mean, that's a huge difference. And I think the battery life on this has done so well. We're down now to 3/4, but I think it's done so well. I don't think you need to mess with eco mode. So I'm gonna stop using it for now, but now you've seen the difference in the testing of it. I'm gonna recommend standard mode wholeheartedly. All right, so we're chugging our way along on the driveway, and as you're taking a look at the progress, I just wanna point out that we are in Ohio, so we've got kind of wet, packy snow. You'll see this is, wow, this is snowball weather right here. I've lived in Colorado, so I know snow is different, but this is wet, packed snow here in Ohio. A little more difficult to use in a snowblower, but I haven't had any sort of clogging issue. I haven't had to clear this blower yet, or the blades. That's often the problem with wet snow. It gets gunked up. I think it's just shooting it out so quickly, and it's not feeding it up through a tube and then out the top that you don't have to stop and do that. So I like that design a little better. It's honestly got more power than I expected. We're gonna do this side and push it forward. We've kind of been pushing it off to the side, but so far, ergonomics are really good. These wheels, they're small, but you know, they just kind of glide along. You do have a light right here on top. if you were doing this in the dark in the morning or evening, you could turn this light on. That's really nice. And your battery is protected. You see, we're getting a lot of snow throw here on top, but your battery's protected down inside this magnetic cover. So that's really nice. There's not a lot of metal parts on this that are going to rust. So I just like the way it's designed and the way it works. It's really efficient on the battery and seems to have enough power in regular mode to throw the snow, I don't know, 20, 25 feet. I'm throwing it all the way across this driveway. Now we're just kind of going sideways and it has no problem just throwing it. I mean, we're throwing out past that tree. That's 20 feet away. So it's really powerful and seems to be battery efficient. Now that's impressive. This is the packed snow that the snow blower or the snow plow has put into our driveway. Big chunks and heavy, wet, packed, and it went across it just fine. Let's do another pass. Yeah, I mean, a little patience and it just works its way right through. So after running this thing for more than 30 minutes, I think my advice would be use it like an electric snow shovel. It really does work better just kind of using it like a shovel versus trying to walk behind it like a regular blower. Super powerful. We are still 50% battery. Look at that. After all this work, 50% battery. We did about 3 minutes in eco mode, the rest on the powerful mode, which is what I would recommend. And overall, I'm really impressed with this thing. I wish it had a little bit bigger feed-in area than 15 inches, but hey, I think the bigger it gets, the more apt you are to clogging and things like that. You need bigger motors, bigger power, all that stuff. So I think 60 volts is gonna last you a long time. You can do a huge driveway with that. Lots of power, throws it 20 plus feet. I could wholeheartedly recommend this, and I'm gonna be happy to keep using this all winter long. So I'm gonna finish up the driveway and I'll catch up with you later. So there you have it, some products to make winter a little bit more bearable. I know spring is coming and I'm getting excited for it. And I just want to tell you, we've got some really fun and exciting things coming forward in the channel. So make sure you subscribe if you're not already. It's completely free. Brand new videos about outdoor camping and adventure products every single week. You don't want to miss it. We've had a great 2025. We're going to have an even greater 2026 because of all of you out there watching and commenting. So please leave me a comment down below. Let me know you're here. Let me know what you like the most and what you want to see, because we're going to have a lot of fun together in the coming year. As always, my name is Joel. This is the Traveler Toolkit, and I'll see you in the next video.